So hello all, welcome to Metallurgy and Automobile channel. So we are in the videos of BIS series. So in the video one, part one, we have already shooted, which we have discussed on why BIS certification is mandatory for the foundries and quality control orders and all. And in this video, so let us understand who is this BIS is, what BIS actually does, what is the history of BIS. So all this information we'll see in this video. This BIS is BIS means Bureau of Indian Standards. So BIS is a national standards body of India under the BIS Act 2016. So for every country there will be a board who forms the standards of that country. For example, we say Germany for automobile, Germany is having VDA, Warburg Automobile Industry, and for American people we follow AIGs, and for each country, for each sector, they will be having different bodies to form the standards for their country. So like that for India, this is the national standard body is BIS. Like for USA, for America, they have American National Standard Institute. For China, they have Standardization Administration of China. For Japanese, Industrial Standards Committee. For Germany, German Institute for Standardization. So for each country, they will have a body for standardization. For whatever products they're producing or whatever processes are there for safety, for standardization, each country will have a board for preparing the standards. So like that, BIS is a our India's standards body. So this is the BIS. Generally, BIS certification basically it will be in a voluntary nature. So BIS generally they will not have any authority to tell that this product has to come under ISI certification. They will not be having the authority. BIS will produce the standards. For this, if you want to produce a helmet, then helmet should have these properties. So like that, BIS will produce the standards, but BIS will never tell that this product has to come under mandatory certification. So they will prepare the standards for different products. So if manufacturer require, for example, some manufacturer is producing some product, for example, some electronic product or gas stove or something they are producing. So if for that there is a Indian standard is there. If manufacturer really want to adhere to that standard, then they can voluntarily get the standard certification. But for few products, compliance in IS standard is made compulsory by central government. So BIS will prepare the standards for various products, but central government will decide which products has to go under the mandatory certification. So for example, now for all these helmets, water bottles and the grey cast irons, now government will decide, like various ministry. Now in our case we have seen this Ministry of Commerce and Industries has decided to go for the mandatory certification through BIS. So government will decide. There are several reasons when government will decide which product has to go under the certification. Those are like in reasons like public interest, protection of human, animal or plant health, and then safety of environment, prevention of unfair trade practices and national security. For example, few products are produced in different countries and they will not having a good properties, and they are of with low quality, but those products will be exported to India. So we will import that products and we will use, and our people will get affected. So unfair trades, for example, lot of business going outside of the country. So outside they will produce and will not be having a scope for production. So for that also government will take a decision that you have to produce in India, and once you produce you have to comply with this Indian standard. So for example, once the product is decided that it is mandatory to produce, then even that product is produced outside the India also, they also need to get the license from BIS, and they also need to complain for that Indian standard. So wherever the product is produced, then whatever standard is decided by BIS, then that has to be followed. So for these reasons, central government will make few products as a mandatory to undergo BIS certification. So this is the overview of BIS and history of the BIS, from where BIS has started actually. In the last years of British rule, India is in needs of building up a industrial infrastructure. In the last years, when the British people are about to go in the before 1947, the near years, so our India is really need to build up the industrial infrastructure in not only in the buildings and all, but for the standards preparation, for the technology. So we ourselves, our Indian technology, our Indian people, our Indian standards were really in the need. So initially, the institution of engineers took up the task of formulation national standards. There is an institution of engineers. They took the task to formulate the national standards. That means Indian standards. So the Indian Standard Institution ISI came into being on 6th January 1947. So on 6th January 1947, Indian government had formed a institution called Indian Standards Institution. For that, Mr. Dr. Lal C. Verman took over as the first director in June 1947. So he is Mr. Dr. Lal C. Verman, who is a director for ISI, first director for ISI, and he was the vice president for International Organization for Standardization. So for ISO, he was the vice president and he is a director for ISI. So this is how BIS has started. And the certification marks scheme was which was formally launched by IS in 1955 to 56, enabled it to grant licenses to manufacture producing goods in conformity with Indian standard and apply ISI mark on their products. So now for grey iron castings, now we are hearing, all foundry people are hearing that we need to go for BIS mark. But this scheme that few products need to have the ISI mark, this scheme is not started now. This is started in 1955 only. When ISI started, after that 1955 only, government made one rule order again that the ISI can give the licenses whenever they follow as per the IS standard. So this scheme is launched in 1955 itself. Bureau of Indian Standards came into existence through an act of parliament dated on 26th November 1986 on 1st April 1987 with a broadened scope and more powers taking over the staff, assets, liabilities and functions of the S12 ISI. This ISI actually initially they were focusing on building the standards only, and they have introduced this certification scheme. But by giving the more powers to BIS, other than making the standards, many other functions they have added to the institution, and they came up with this Bureau of Indian Standards. So this ISI totally gone into BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, from 1st April 1987. So all the staff, assets, liabilities and functions, everything of old ISI is been transferred to BIS. So this is how BIS came into the picture. And this BIS, now for example, we know for farming IATF certification, there are many OEMs come together. like General Motor, Ford, and from our country Jaguar. So you might be knowing, whoever knows regarding IATF ISO, the farming committee of many OEMs and institutions will put together, they will form the IATF certification. Like that, in the BIS also there are 25 members will be there representing both central and state governments and member of parliament, industries, scientific and research institutions, and consumer organizations and professional bodies, with Union Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution as its president, and with Minister of States for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution as vice president. So this Bureau of Indian Standard will consist of 25 members. These are the corporate board members who will have all the authority, and whatever standards comes out, whatever rules and regulation comes out will be decided by these 25 members. And our current BIS Director General is Sri Pramod Kumar Tiwari. So he is heading the BIS now, means as a Director General. So this, other than BAS, many of might be just knowing about ISI mark, but this BIS is having a very good history. BIS has played vital roles in many of the international standards also. So those let us know. India has since long been actively involved in the matters of international standardization and was one of the founding member of International Organization for Standardization. We know as a worldwide, international wide, for standardization there is an organization called ISO, which is called International Organization for Standardization. For that, BIS is a founding member. In its capacity as the national standard body of India, BIS is actively involved in matters of international and regional standardization. So from BIS, they involved in the standardization of international and national. BIS is also member of regional standards bodies, like for not only international, for regional standards body also it is a member, like for example Pacific Area Standard Congress, South Asia Regional Standard Organization, under the framework of IBSA, India, Brazil and South Africa. For that also BIS is a member. Member of Standard Management Board of International Electronic Communication since 2015. Further elected from 1st January 2021 to 31st December 23. So for electronic goods, now for mobiles are there, charges are there. So for electronic goods also, BIS prepare the standardization. It is a member also for that. Participating member in 489 technical committee subcommittees of ISO and 99 technical committees and subcommittees of IEC. IEC means Electronic Commission, International Electronic Commission. Observer member is a participating member also, and observer member in 184 technical committees, subcommittees of ISO. We are participating also, and observer member also we are there as a BIS. Secretariat for 8 international committees of ISO, leather, spices, uh, and soft contaminants and softwares and system engineering. So our BIS is represented as secretariat for 8 international committees of ISO. So these are the main points of BIS. So we came to know that how BIS is started, and who are the governing rules of BIS, and what are the achievements of BIS we have seen. And actually, this is the origin and history of the BIS. Now, what are the other works? What are the main works of these BIS? Bureau of Indian Standards involved in what all the works? Is like standardization is the first work, main work, and conformity assessment. That means BIS people will come for the audit, for the conformity assessment. Whatever standard is there, to give the license, the BIS officials can come and do the audit. Conformity assessments also they do. And for testing the product, they should have their own laboratory. So BIS is having a laboratory service also, and hallmarking for gold. So earlier there will be no much regulations for gold manufacturing and sales. So BIS came up with hallmarking standards so that the standards in the gold industry will be maintained. So hallmarking activities and training activities also BIS conducts. So these are the functions and works of the BIS. Up to now, if you see the numbers, so these many 22,639 standards BIS has produced, prepared as of now, and 1,248 products under certification are there, and products under mandatory certification. Now how our gray iron castings has become the mandatory, so like that 644 products are there, those has to be mandatorily need to get certified from the BIS, and total 45,743 licenses are granted from the BIS for various manufacturers to produce products. And if we see some symbols from BIS, so these once we get the license for on our gray iron castings, we need to have this ISI mark for regular products. If you see electronic products will be there. If you see your charger, some electronic goods, you will be seeing this kind of symbol. So this is BIS certified. And BIS is also into quality management system consultancy. Now for example, if you want to get ISO certified or IATF certified, there are some certification bodies like TV Suit, TU NOD and other certification bodies. Like that, BIS is also a certification body where we can get the ISO certification, IATF certification, environmental management certification from BIS. And for green product, this is the symbol. And BIS is trying to come out with many ways that people can know about their products and their standards. So BIS come up with BIS Care App. There is a BIS Care App. Once you buy some products which is ISI marked. For example, if you are purchasing a helmet, or if you are purchasing a water bottle, or if you are purchasing gold, so whether that manufacturer or the dealer having the license from the BIS or not can be, we can know, and we can raise a complaint if for example somebody is selling water bottle or helmet or gas stove geyser without ISI mark, or whatever ISI mark they have mentioned, if it is a wrong mark, they simply attached a sticker, and if they are selling, we can come to know from this BIS app. So that is like once you install this BIS Care app, here there is a license verified details. So here once you click on this ISI mark, then there is a CM/L number. On that ISI mark below to that, the CML number will be there. Once you enter the CML number, all the details will come: name of that manufacturer and the address of that manufacturer, district, name of the product, and which IS standard it has to, and whether that is live or not. Here for a current status operative. So that means that manufacturer is having the valid license. So that like that you can understand. And if so next, so I hope we have understood, in this video we have understood why this BIS certification is mandatory for the gray iron foundries. Then we have understood what is the quality order, what is there in that quality control order, and who is this BIS, what is the functions of BIS, history of the BIS, and what are the features given by BIS, how we can know these all things we have seen in this video. So in the next video, let us understand what is this standard. This IS 210 is there. So in IS 210, what are the requirements mentioned? So like that clearly let us understand in the next video. So I hope this video is useful for you. If you really find it is useful, you please like and share to all the foundrymen out there. So they also will be knowing, because why I am saying this quality control order they have released, government has released in 2023 itself, but still many of the foundries might not be knowing about this requirement. Even we also, I also work in a foundry industry, where we also came to know when our customer, one of the customer told to go for the BIS in 2024. So the quality control order released in 23, but we also came to know in 24. Now already this BI certification date is lapsed for medium scale industries and all. September is the last date. So already we are into the out of time. So whoever not applied for the BIS, I request you please apply for the BIS. Otherwise, whatever actions will be taken from the government, we need to face those actions. So thank you very much. If you like this, please share to foundry people, so they also will be coming to know. Thank you.